what's going to happen, so we'll just make our own. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to talk a little bit about the gift wrapped as a challenge. And the daily word for today is peace. And so I'm working with all the words that I'm going to give you today. I'm working toward providing a few hints that might help you find inner peace. And I think that's really what we all want, isn't it? We may have been asked at one time, what do you really want in life? What would you want in life? The younger we are, and maybe in college, and we're really focused on our career and what we're going, and we need to do that because a responsible person needs to be able to take care of themselves, don't they? And then, but we're also focused, we know that we just want to be joyful too. We want to be joyful and let go of all those things that hold us back from our peace of mind and joy. So there's a spiritual teacher named Genevieve Davis. She said she was at sort of a turning point in her life too. She was trying to decide. She had been teaching how to bring magic into your life. That's just what she called the law of attraction. She had worked the law of attraction for many years. She had read every book out there, she said, from the ones that wrote 100 years ago to those that are writing now. And she said none of it worked for her. It just plain didn't work. So she's wondering why it didn't work. And she finally figured out by practice what she needed to do was to be the vessel, what I told you earlier. They're teaching you need a magic wand, or they're teaching you need these magic words. They're teaching you if you just say these affirmations 50 times a day. And they may work. There are magic words, but you have to feel them right here. It has to come from you. And what you have to do, see if I can explain this so we can understand it, is to align yourself with the rhythm of life, where there is pure peace and happiness and harmony and life and love. And when you are out of harmony with life, you're feeling worried, you're concerned, you're thinking the what ifs, if I had only done this, if I had only done that. And you are not in the rhythm of life when you're feeling all that anxiety and concern. You can't be. So when you become the vessel and you open yourself up and you allow that Christ consciousness that we talk about to come in, that's when your magic can happen. You need to be the vessel, the magic. And part of that is being okay with what is. There's a lot going on in the world, so you're probably looking at me like, are you crazy? Have you lost your mind? You're okay with what is? And, well, yes. And I think that's what the Master taught us. And I'll just mention for those that haven't been around Unity teachings for a long time, what we teach about Jesus and the Christ consciousness is that, yes, indeed, Jesus is our example. And we follow everything he taught. The only thing that we teach that is different than most religions, Christian religions, is that we do not teach that he's the only one, the only child. And it was his own words that he used that said that. He said, anything that I can do or be, you can do or be. You are the light of the world. That's what he said. And so somehow it was turned around that he was the only one and that we could only be measly examples. And we needed to do all these things every day to be released from our sin. So we believe that we can do that, and we can still worship. We can still worship in our own way, and we can still feel the Christ consciousness or even the Buddha consciousness. They may be the same thing. They both taught essentially the same thing, and that is to be love in this world, to be a light. So I was mentioning this Genevieve Davis. She said that some days she feels fantastic. She feels Christ-like and Buddha-tastic. I like that word. She said, on other days I'll be lost in my own churning, tempestuous thoughts, despairing because somebody looked at me the wrong way. You don't ever do that, do you? She says, sometimes it appears the outside world does make me happy. On other days, I know that can't be true. On those days, I can see clearly that genuine happiness comes only from within me. But why? Why can I see this sometimes and not all the time? And she said it became obvious. And that's because this is life. This is how it is for everyone. Even for those who have seen the truth, can't always see the truth. We sometimes forget, we get caught up in the news, and we worry with the what ifs and if onlys, and maybe if this happens, all will be okay, don't we? We get caught up in that. And we let that affect our peace of heart and mind. But when your peace of heart and mind comes totally from within, you aren't affected by that. You can go about your day cheerfully and lovingly. Now, does that mean you don't have concern for the world? Of course you do. Of course you see the loss, and it touches your heart. And you pray for those especially. Of course you do. Of course you see the tumult and the challenges, the conflict, and you pray for that. But you begin to see with the eyes of the Christ, and what you actually do is you look beyond that loss to the perfection of all that is. And you know that it's there. It's always there. It's always been there. All we needed to do was look and to see it. So whatever your circumstances, you can be at peace and know that the universe and all the intelligence there allows the river of life to flow in the direction that it must. Okay? So a moment of challenge for us really is an opportunity to grow. It's a gift. It's been given to us as a gift. The gift that's wrapped as a challenge, a blessing in disguise. Think over your life. Of all the things at the time, you could not imagine you would ever look at that as a gift. But I know you can look back on it now and know and see how you've grown and evolved. And if you were looking at your life from a higher perspective with the eyes of God, you could see that, and you'd see how you've grown from it. And I hope you've released yourself from anything from the past you've forgiven. Let it go and know that it's all okay. Truly, truly forgive. So in every moment is the opportunity for the sort of complete and utter peace, joy, and contentment that you've been looking for all your life. You just have to be willing to do one thing. Can you be willing to change your mind? That's all you need to do. Can you be willing to change your mind about how you're looking at this situation that you think is just tragic? But it's not. Are you willing to change your mind about the coronavirus? It's not a tragedy. It's a gift. I know that we're going to look back on this year 2020 and we're going to say this is the biggest gift we were ever given, because we were given the opportunity to stay home, to quit traveling, and those that are in their career and really, really busy right now and that can't even imagine what they would do with their lives if they weren't able to travel and go to see these others and go to these meetings. And, well, guess what? They too have been forced to stay in and do things differently and change. And look at their lives differently, their families differently, their children. So we must be willing to change, be willing to give up the need to understand, to control, to change, maybe to think your way out of this. Is that how you solve every problem, is to think your way out of it? Now we need to thank the intellect. I told you earlier, we need to thank it because it keeps us safe. We've always counted on it to make decisions for us, help us drive that vehicle safely, to figure out problems, mathematics, science, all of those things. Rick taught high schoolers for many years. Junior high. Okay, well, you had even a bigger challenge. And many of you have taught many, many years. Janet taught 30 years, did you? 25. Sherry taught many, many years, and many of you have. I know you've been teachers, and we've all been teachers of different sorts, haven't we? We have been. And we have needed our intellect for that. We've needed that. But there's a different type of intellect that I want to talk to you about today, and that's how you're going to solve some of your problems. We're going to change and decide that everything is okay, exactly the way it is. We're going to quit worrying. We're going to let it go and know that the river of life is flowing, and it has this. Beyond appearances. Beyond appearances. That's one of the things the Fillmores taught us, to look beyond appearances to the perfection that is beyond. So our poor intellect, it must be exhausted. All these decades solving puzzles, reading and math. Instead, we've given it a job it's ill-equipped to do. We've given it something that was never its job. And that was to make wise decisions for us when we need wisdom and understanding instead of the intellect. And as I said earlier, the intellect has been useful, and we might call that our street level consciousness. And we need that. We need that to keep us safe too. But what we're looking for here is a higher level of consciousness. We really want the Christ consciousness. We aspire toward that. So there's a type of seeing, a type of sensing that goes beyond, under, behind, and before the intellect. And that's how we see with the heart. And when you go within and you spend enough time to go within and engage the heart and the mind, and if you do that every day, the answers will come. The answers will come. So back to the gift that I mentioned. You know, there's something special about this particular crisis that we have. That's not the case with a crisis like war or social unrest or other types of horror that we've experienced. This disaster, this virus, this pandemic is a gentle one. It requires us not to take action and to do stuff, not to step up and get busy. For most of us, it simply requires us to stay indoors and wait and be and allow. Stressed, overworked people all over the world pay vast sums in order to go on a silent retreat. Can you imagine? They pay huge sums of money to go on a silent retreat. And you've been given one. We've been given that gift this year. And somehow, some people still don't recognize it. That's amazing to me. So this forced boredom, forced isolation, forced nothingness has a purpose for us to go within and learn who we are and how we can allow the Holy One to occupy our lives. A chance to slow down. The world needed a miracle, you know? And I think maybe this was it. Not violence caused by a vengeful God, but an allowing a beautiful opportunity to achieve the thing that is most worth achieving, and that is to find that peace resides right here and right here. Because our heart informs our mind, and that's where our wisdom and understanding come from. Our strength, our courage, or resilience, they all come from there. So every moment there's perfection. So when you go within, I would ask you to notice this quiet time of slowing down. Notice the thoughts you're having. What are the thoughts? What are they telling you? How do they feel? Are you worried? Are you blaming someone or something? Are you thinking there's some dark force out there and if only we can find it, then we'll have peace? Let that go. Let it go. Whenever you're in your quiet time, if you find yourself blaming, then you haven't found God. Because the universe is very peaceful and the river of life flows just that peacefully. So when you find peace, you'll find God. So in the midst of the panic and suffering, you might just receive the greatest gift of all, And that is a glimpse of the infinite and the truth behind this life. God is good. God is love. And if you're in a situation that is not love and it doesn't feel like love, it's not God. Look a little further. So that is the message, and that's the meaning of life, is to love. And what gives meaning to life is love. So what we want to do is to align ourselves the best we can with this Christ consciousness. And when we do that, we allow the light to come in and flow down through our bodies, healing us. We become an empty vessel. We're going to heal everything that needs to be healed. Every single thing. So I'd ask you to start noticing the things that happen that bring you out of your place of peace. What just happened there? Did I have the responsibility for that? Well, indeed I did. Whatever happened that the other person did, I may need to respond, because a lot of people don't even have good street level consciousness. You might find that. So we may need to deal with them too. So I may indeed find that I need to respond. And guess what? I'm responsible for my response. And in that, I want to be honest and truthful and loving. Somebody cannot trigger me without my permission, right? Right. And you might always say, well, they said this and that and the other. Okay. Let it go. You might be able to say, I don't think I want to stay here. I don't like this conversation. Good luck. Goodbye. And that's okay too. Remain peaceful and at ease. Don't be triggered. And say something you're going to later regret. But if you have, forgive yourself for it and let that be. See, there's one of those challenges. There's one of those gifts wrapped up as a challenge. And it's all enticing at the moment, isn't it? To respond, trigger a response. But if you have, there's a gift in that too. And the gift is that you're going to see things differently, and you're not going to react exactly that way the next time, are you? Because you learned. I will not react that way the next time. So we have many sacred opportunities and divine invitations in this life. We have many, many of them. And if we'll go to the next slide. Today, wherever you are, know that you have many choices. You have many roads ahead of you. And today, let today be the first one. Could we allow today to be the first day if we have not set our intention toward healing yet? Wherever you go, carry the intention of peace, love, and harmony in your heart. Choose that path, okay? We're given those opportunities every single day. So as for me, I'm going to remind myself of that. I'm going to find the gift in the challenge. I'm going to do my best to release all of the things that are holding me back. I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to set my intention to be the best that I can be. I hope you will too. Thank you for your time.